Hello, friends, and welcome back to the channel. Today's episode clearly looks a little bit different.
It's somehow familiar.
A little different camera perspective from what I normally use, and you don't normally see me in the headset.
Your voice sounds different.
For today's video, it thought it was going to work best if I did this with my computer so that I could be able to show you some things on the screen. Because what I've got today is a video response for Darren over at Return to Collecting. He asked us to name our 10 dream cards if money were no object.
Oh, I wish that were the case.
Hello, friends. I am John, and I am the 3D 80s kid. All right, now if money were no object, this wouldn't really change, to me, my approach.
It's seriously? Are you serious?
At least I'm going to look at it that way. I'm going to pretend that, if I were suddenly a billionaire and could buy just anything I wanted, what would I want?
I want a flying pony.
And I'm still going the route of trying to find visually appealing cards that I like and that I want to display in a wall case like you see behind me, which is the start of my lifelong project, which is about collecting one item from every Major League Baseball player Hall of Famer.
It's a pretty lofty goal.
And in order to keep track of this, I've actually got a spreadsheet going.
Everybody, come out of your offices, please. Party has now started.
Where I have made an entry for all 270 of those such players, then tracking the cards I have, the cards I actually have slabbed, as well as then trying to figure out my targets for my next acquisitions. So as I scroll down the list, you'll see what I have to help me here. For the folks where I haven't chosen a specific card to target yet, I did add columns showing the range of where their career started and ended. I've classified everybody per the era they're in. I've kind of given up on the fact that lots of players where they say are classified as early means that's before the T206 cards. And I fully do not expect that I will ever be actually collecting those players. The pre-war guys alone from T206 to the 41 play ball is really going to occupy most of the rest of this project for my life. And then there's always then the NL or the Negro Leaguers who never actually played MLB. And so a few of these guys have really expensive and rare Cuban cards that I don't ever see myself being in a position to purchase. And go down to the bottom of the list, my current progress I've bundled up here. I have the cards on hand for all of the modern players, and out of what I have as a total of 76 vintage players, I have 61 of those cards, needing 15 more, and 54 of them are already in an SGC slab, which you're going to see behind me, with 7 that need to be slabbed up. Praying at some point that there will be a even cheaper rate. I dream of the $10 card grading for all of these guys here, but we'll see. I'm going to hang on to the bulk of them for a while and trickle them in slowly and then send them in bulk if there is ever a cheap special. So we'll see on that front. Fingers crossed.
Be patient. Be ready.
Let's move on to the VR response now with the dream cards. All right, for my first dream card here, I've got the 39 play ball DiMaggio. I've kind of developed affection for this 39 play ball set. When I first started into vintage, I wasn't so sure about the whole black and white portraits, but I've just come to really like these. And if this would be a more affordable card, this would be the one I would get.
It looks great.
In my realistic list, I'm probably targeting the 51 Burke Ross. Next, Christy Mathewson, the T205. And I've previously shown my Fred Clark card that's up here in the background from that set. This one's a bit more costly.
Christy Mathewson.
A dime a dozen.
I just love something about the facial expression on this one for him is great. Love those shiny gold borders. Number 8, Walter Johnson. So I do have a 40 play ball. But that's 13 years after his playing days. So my real goal is to have playing days cards of all these Hall of Famers.
First class?
And I really love the just design pattern on this set. And I am looking to realistically get one of a lesser Hall of Famer from this set. Out of his pictures on the cards, I really like this one where it actually shows a picture of throwing. Never been a big fan of just the T206 portraits. And I like this one better than the throwing ones from those. So up next, this is one of the classic cards. Orlando has this one, and he showed it off recently, and it's just gorgeous. The yellow just makes the face pop. I mean, and who wouldn't want the Lou Gehrig card on this with the Lou Gehrig says at the bottom?
You're a hero. No, Lou Gehrig was a hero.
I mean, this is just one of the iconic cards of our hobby. So up next, the easy route when you say unlimited funds is, you're going to get that T206 portrait Honus Wagner, but
It just wouldn't be any fun.
like I said, I'm not that big of a fan of the portraits, and apologies that I threw up a PSA slab here. I know the cards look better in that SGC tux, but
Just this once.
But the pictures I had readily to grab, the registration on this card looks a lot better than the SGC example that was currently for sale. So that's where I ended up with this one. And I just love the colors of the background of this one, and him with the throwing motion where you can actually see his face good, and the nose of his is so recognizable in his pictures clearly. So really like this one here. Number 5. I'm back to the T205s.
Go for the gold, kid.
And here we've got, with Cy Young, his cards are so freaking expensive. Thanks to them naming the award after him, made him, more expensive than some guys who are probably better pitchers than him.
According to, some people.
But I really like these American League versions for the T205s where they've got these extra graphics on there. Just a little more intricate and interesting than the National League ones, which are just the plain portraits. So interesting how they only did this for American League players. So number 4. Then we've got Ty Cobb.
He's pretty good, I guess.
Oh man, his cards are expensive. So here I went with a batting pose, and just the colors in the background was what nailed it for me, as well as getting a good shot of his face. And the fact that he is playing baseball in a turtleneck just struck me.
It's always the one in the turtleneck, kid.
It's just so odd and interesting. So here we go with my number 4 with Ty Cobb. Number 3, just another one of the absolute classic, iconic cards of the hobby. I know this guy is not in the Hall of Fame.
Ty Cobb called him the greatest left fielder of all time.
But it's just special. Between Field of Dreams, 8 Men Out, he is just so famous and popular that his cards, every one of his cards cost a fortune. His 1940 Play Ball is a multiple $1,000 card, even as a beater. So would love to be able to have one of these Cracker Jack cards. They're so expensive. I know I say 1914 over here, and this one's a 1915. They do have identical front pictures. But I said the 1914 because those you can guarantee that those were actually in the Cracker Jack box as opposed to the 15s, which in some cases you could mail away for them. So to me, it adds something to have the caramel stains on the back. I wonder if you can actually smell Cracker Jack still when you get a hold of these ones in your hand. So smell. Number 2, Babe Ruth. Of course, you need a card of Babe Ruth.
I'm the Great Bambino.
And I actually prefer this one where you get the full body pose from the 33 Gaudi as opposed to the one that's more famous where it's the tighter shot. What can you say? He's the legend, one of the most recognizable faces in the world. His cards cost a plenty. Fortunately, there are some options available that don't require a comma, but with unlimited funds, I'd love to have this one. And number 1, I've got the Willie Mays rookie card.
Say hey, Willie Mays.
I don't know if I will ever reach a point where I can realistically make the purchase for this card and fully complete my run, because we're talking at minimum somewhere 2,000 to 2,500 right now for something that would be an absolute beater, and more like 3K for something that's going to look decent. So Willie is my player collection, and I don't currently see this one as necessarily ever being something I would be willing to fork out that much money for. So
Where's your priorities?
So that's why it is my number one dream card, and that is it. So thanks, Darren, for putting this contest out there. You've got a great channel, and it's so much better now that you're putting yourself in front of the camera. If anybody out there is watching this and they're still being the hand model, give it a chance. Be brave. Put yourself out there. It's so much better to make a connection with you, and we can see you eye to eyes.
That's eye contact.
So, everybody, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.
See you next time.